Alright, so Whistle Stop Tour of who we got here. We got Lae'zel. She makes more tokens. Shadowheart, you can use her to sacrifice a creature to draw cards. Alright. Gale does things with instants and sorceries, which, makes sense. Astarion, he gains life, and anything he fights, he kills. And you can make people lose life equal to the amount of life they lost this turn. Or you can gain life equal to the amount of life you gained. Will weirdly increases the number of dice you roll. And whenever you roll the dice, you put a counter on him. It's not exactly a fit for Will, but it is different. Karlach is insane. Karlach, whenever you attack, if it's the first combat, you get another combat that turn, which is nuts powerful. She's the most expensive of all of the cards in this deck by a long way. Minthara makes your entire team stronger for each time a creature you've controlled has died per turn, but she can cascade quite well into doing more stuff. Halsin's a bit weaker. He just makes a token you control into a bear. He can't actually change into a bear himself. Jaheira's weird in that she gives tokens the ability to tap for mana, which is a unique effect in green. So she's interesting, but she's a bit different. Minsk makes a legendary 1/1 hamster token called Boo, and you can make that bigger and a giant. That's for the creature. For the Planeswalker, Minsk and Boo, there's a whole heap of text there. But basically, you keep making the hamster, and then you can throw it at people, and you can make the hamster bigger. Albert does things if you attack someone with a lot of land, basically. Or Intellect Devourer, steals cards from your opponent's hand, which is, in Magic lore, like their brain. Volo, he rewards you for playing creatures of different types. Both of them. So there's two. Volo gets 2 cards. Zevlor weirdly does things with instants and sorceries, which you wouldn't think from playing the game. Like, I don't know if they just came up with this effect first or whatever. Maybe I just don't know the lore of the character. Maybe. Duke Ulden Ravengard. He allows you to make copies of creatures you control that aren't legendary, so that's alright. There is no Emperor card, so I went with Illicit Harvester, as it's the only card that looks like the Emperor, but also it has this weird thing where you can play 2 different spells off of it, but the flavor text says your mind belongs to the Emperor now. Yep. Raphael makes all of your demons, devils, imps, and tieflings stronger. And if a creature of yours died, you get to make a devil. The dead 3 are all god cards, and they are all indestructible if you have half of your starting life total left over. Mercule is insane in that when a creature of yours dies, it comes back as an enchantment, allows infinite combos and stuff. Baal, Lord of Murder, whenever another non-token creature you control dies, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature and goad it. That allows you to force creatures to attack people who aren't you, so you make them stronger and force them to attack someone who isn't you, which is neat. I don't even know what Bane does. Whenever an non-token creature you control dies, target opponent, you may draw a card. If you don't, you may call a creature card. Okay, so you do stuff, and either you gain a card off of that, or you can reanimate a creature. Savrock, he basically just, if nothing died, he does damage to the player whose turn it is that turn. Karga, she does stuff with putting stuff into your graveyard, and then you can reanimate stuff. Yeah. You may put a land card. Blah. Guttruzol Zealot allows you to sacrifice things and bring them back as 4/1 skeletons. The Elder Brain steals your opponent's hand, basically, and then you can cast the spells from the hand. It's pretty good. I mostly put the Druid of the Emerald Grove in here because its effect involves rolling dice and it's a named part of the card. Elemenster does things with his sorceries and scrying. He's not too useful for this deck, but he's in because he's Elemenster. Wilson Refined Grizzly is in here because I like the card. It has nothing to do with Baldur's Gate 3. Xantha is in here because of Xantha's Guide to Everything, which isn't part of Baldur's Gate 3, but is there in D&D, so we get to keep that. Tasha's mentioned, so we get to keep Tasha. Zariel, similarly, isn't actually physically in there, but she's mentioned a lot, so I thought I'd go with that. Lolith, Spider Queen, similar logic. Pixie Guide, not useful, not Baldur's Gate related, but does give you advantage on spells, so when you roll dice, you roll 2. Now, a lot of the cards, there's one for each colour where it's a named person and then they do something. So, Lizelle's Acrobatics, you exile all your non-token creatures and then you can have them come into play or whatever. It dodges removal, but it also allows you to get effects when the creatures come in again. Astarion exiles a card and then makes something, your commander, stronger for doing it. Gales is a counter spell and you steal the spell, basically. Or you might steal it. What is it? You change the targets? Yeah, you either steal the spell or you steal the spell and copy it at the same time. Will's Reversal. Will gets to redirect a spell. Or you may redirect it and copy it. But they all involve dice rolling. Barbarian class is in here because it gives you advantage. So there are backgrounds that they added for Baldur's Gate, and one of the ones I picked was Haunted One because Dark Urge, and Tavern Brawler because it's my favourite feat in the fucking game by a long way. Let's see. So there's a bunch of gates, which are land cards, which I have cards that pay off for being gates. Descent into Avernus is just in here because it's named great. It's a fairly powerful card. Gives treasure tokens and does damage. Journey into the Lost City is helpful, but it's an enchantment with a vague notion of being related to Baldur's Gate. This card fetches lands, it fetches Baldur's Gate. This land card fetches lands and is Lord of the Rings, but it fetches lands. Journey into the Underdark, useful for this deck. Mercurial's Edict forces your opponents to sacrifice cards, but also rolls a dice. Thunderwave, Wrath Effect, but also you roll dice. Gates Ablaze is because it's Gates deck. This is standard ramp, don't worry about that. Robe of the Archmagi is a fairly good card, but also can only be equipped to Shaman, Warlocks, or Wizards. Ramp. The Sword of Dungeons and Dragons. This isn't normally legal, but no one I'm going to play with is going to care. It gives the card +2/+2 protection from rogues and clerics, and whenever you deal damage to a player, you roll a d20. You create a dragon token, but if you roll a 20, you do it again. Decanter of Endless Water. That's a reference to kind of. This is ramp. Navigation Orb fetches gates, which is why it's in here. Volo's Monster Manual. Doesn't say Volo on it, but it is. Very important. The Nautiloid Ship. This is just ramp. Vexing Puzzle Box involves dice rolling. This doesn't matter so much. Neither does Maze's End, but then the rest of it is all like gates and basic lands. Including the Black Gate from Lord of the Rings, because of course the Black Gate is actually a gate. There it is. Yeah, the Black Gate from Lord of the Rings. And that's the deck -9 Fingers Keen because I forgot to order it.